Welcome all to Chasing Tents. My name is Abby and you find me in familiar surroundings, which is the Donington Park circuit. I'm here with Jimmy Work, a great friend, an ex-racer with me in the Endurance Championship for motorcycles with no limits, but Jimmy has decided to do car racing now, and he is racing in the MG Owners Club Championship, sponsored by Adrian Flux. Now Jimmy himself is sponsored by his own business, which is Elixir Ink, a famous tattoo studio.
Should be 32 cars for this one. It's second fastest time from the qualifying session this morning that sets the grid for this one. It's McDermott and Son on the front row once again, but this time Son ahead of father. Jake McDermott has taken his first pole position. Second row, Jonathan Candler in the 84 alongside Riley Price. Row 3, Matt Harvey and Lewis Sharp, who's secured his boot lid after the bit of contact in the first race. On row 4 of the grid, Jack Chapman and Adrian Olsen, although looking out of the commentary box window, Jack Chapman I don't think is there, so he could be a non-starter. He retired from race 1. Row 5 is 95 Jack Meager and 68 Lee Sullivan, podium finisher on his return to the championship earlier on. Row 6, 42 Simon Kendricks MGF, but I don't think that's there after his off in race 1. And Darren Leonard, he's there in the 76. On row 7, it's Doug Cole and Nick Reynolds. Then we've got Jimmy Work and Chris Lawson. Green flag is waved at the back of the grid for this 20-minute race, the Adrian Flux Insurance MG Owners Club Championship. There's an incident pack race earlier on. The red lights are on and race 2 gets underway. braked himself slightly. Here's a replay. This is down at Redgates. Who's gone off? I think that might be Chris Lawson running wide through the gravel. Let's take a look. Yes, the 431 car of Chris Lawson, the Kent driver. It's going again with a bit of bodywork hanging loose. McDermid's 1 and 2 once again. 3.994 seconds was the margin of victory for Steve McDermid. Sullivan in third place. The ZR's locked out the top 17 places.
Okay, so that was the end of race 2. So Jimmy finished 10th and he started 15th. Earlier we did presume that it was 14th, but he started 15th and he finished 10th. And some of the battles were absolutely epic, as you saw. It was just ding-dong, absolutely epic. So let me put Jimmy on the mic. How was it from your perspective?
Well, the finish weren't great, being 10th, but the actual race itself was, buzzing. It was a good race, fighting every single corner, no open track, so there was a battle everywhere I was battling, and slowly got through. Could have done a bit more, but never mind.
No, it's all right. When I watched the whole race from the outside. I was at Redgate, and it feels so fast from the outside. And at one point, you went all the way up to 7th, and he went all the way up to 7th. Then he dropped down to 14th, and then he made his way back to 10th. So kudos to you, mate. Absolutely fantastic.
Cheers.
So that was an unbelievable day from the MG Owners Club. You know, there's so many different types of cars in this particular championship. Some really old ones. There's a Maestro, a beige cream looking Maestro, and then you've got the ZRs and stuff. It is just absolutely epic. I thoroughly enjoyed my day. This was my first ever car kind of race day event with multiple championships at the same point. So I hope you enjoyed the same as well. Now this was organized absolutely perfectly by the organizers, especially Jim, who you heard from earlier. And they're going to do a little presentation ceremony now. The first and second in the race again was the father and son team, Steve and Jake, they're just there at the moment celebrating. So they're going to get some trophies, and it's going to be absolutely epic. So I hope you enjoyed this as well. I'm going to be filming race after race after race for this team, Elixir Ink, Jimmy Work, along with Chasing Tents. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Take care.
I think you need to go. Yeah.
Good job, son.